Hey guys, so as you may have guessed by the title of this video, today's topic is going to be bullying. Now this video isn't me asking for you to show me any sympathy or for you to feel sorry for me. This video is to bring awareness to bullying, which I'm going to be doing by sharing my own experience with you guys. And I'm also going to be offering tips to anyone who is dealing with bullying right now on how to overcome it. So a lot of people remember being bullied in high school or middle school or even elementary school. This may shock some people, but my first experience with bullying actually happened when I was in preschool. Yes, pre-kindergarten. I was only 3 years old, didn't speak a lick of English, and I was bullied for it. Kids would make a circle around me at recess and they would literally pick up sticks and stones and start throwing it at me. Now, even back then at 3 years old, I still knew that I had to stand up for myself and fight because there was nothing else I could really do. I was really lucky that day when my nanny came to pick me up early for a doctor's appointment and she saw all of this happening and she ended it right then and there. The teachers weren't doing a thing, okay? They were just standing by watching all of this happen and my nanny went off at them. So thank you, nanny. Needless to say, that was the last time I ever went to that preschool. Even at such a young age, I knew that I was different from all the other kids. More importantly, I knew that I had to develop a thick skin. So in elementary school, I started taking up martial arts, which really helped boost my confidence. There was a boy at school, we'll call him Stan since we're not using any real names, but in the 3rd grade, Stan was my bully. And Stan would go on and on to the entire class about how he was a black belt in karate and how he wanted to fight me. So I took Taekwondo and karate and I actually ended up doing really well in them. I went to the state championships, I won medals, I won trophies. And one day I got the courage to walk up to Stan and I asked him to fight. Y'all, I was ready to square up, but we never ended up fighting. My mom insists to this day that Stan was only picking on me because he had a crush on me. He just wanted to get my attention, according to her. And you know what? I agree. He was the OG Stan. But after the 3rd grade, I started getting tired of my old school and I decided to transfer to a new one. This time, I went to an all-girls Catholic school. Yes. Keep in mind, you guys, when I went to school, it was around the same time that 9/11 had just happened. And me being a Muslim, there was a lot of stigma attached to me. And unfortunately for me, I didn't even notice because I wasn't even aware of it. So when I attended the 4th grade, I had a bully and we'll call her Anna Lee. Now, Anna Lee, along with many of her other friends, which was basically the entire class of 36 girls, actually probably around 34 since there were a few girls who were really, really nice to me and whom I didn't even have to question at all, and whom I'm still friends with to this day. I love you. But basically, Anna Lee and her minions would make my life a living hell. They were basically the type to be nice to me as a joke. They'd be my friend for a few weeks and then they would just kind of ghost me out of nowhere. They'd laugh at me, make jokes about me. I would hear so many racist jokes, you guys. I would hear so many jokes about how my parents were teased. And as a 10-year-old, as an innocent 10-year-old, I did not understand why. I was just trying to be everybody's friend. I thought an all-girls school would lighten my school experience, my academic experience, but I was wrong. It actually ended up being so miserable for me that I ended up transferring to another all-girls school a year after. So in the 5th grade, I started at another Catholic all-girls school, and actually things were starting to look up. There were some girls from my other old school that ended up there, and I was pretty good acquaintances with them. So 5th grade wasn't so bad. But then middle school came. Now in middle school, all of the popular girls were preppy girls. If you weren't preppy, you weren't popular. If you weren't popular, you weren't preppy. Well, if you weren't preppy, then you were sporty. And if you weren't sporty, then you were nerdy. You get my point. And there was this one really preppy girl whom I'll never forget who just didn't like me for no reason, and I actually thought she was pretty cool. Everyone wanted to be her friend. Everybody was popping their collars and wearing little ribbons in their hair just to be like her. And for a while I tried to get on her good side, but it was to no avail. In middle school, I was constantly teased for my looks, for my race, for my religion, even for the fact that I had a peanut allergy. I was kind of quiet, I always seemed kind of distracted because there were just so many things going on in my own head. Having a peanut allergy, I'm gonna go back to this, it made it a lot tougher for me in middle school. I actually had my own table that I sat at outside of the cafeteria. I'd wait for my mom to drop off lunch, she'd usually drop off Panera, and then a frap from Starbucks. I was living the life. Girls definitely got jealous of that too, boo-hoo. No, but it even got to the point where some girl actually tried to put peanut butter in my food because she wanted to see how I'd react. People would even tell me that I was lying about my peanut allergy. Y'all, the last time I had an allergic reaction really wasn't that long ago. And it was in front of so many people, so you can't tell me anything. I was at a wedding, for those who don't know. So basically from 7th through 8th grade, I just went through this really emo, depressive phase. And then high school was just one big sine and cosine graph. I remember I'd found my escape through theater and also through my English class. Those were the two things that I really loved and I really cherished. And I actually met a friend who was into the same things I was. And she was also kind of from the same culture as me. We're gonna call her Bindouche, Bean Juice, and I spent a lot of time in high school. Until one day she ghosted me with pretty much no explanation. And it hurt me a lot because I didn't know if I did anything wrong. And I kept asking her if I did anything wrong, and she just wouldn't reply to me. I got silence every single time. It wasn't until one day, about a month later, when I got an email from her apologizing for treating me so badly. Basically saying that it wasn't my fault, it was her. And she'd also apologized for not being there for me, but at that point I'd already been making new friends. And honestly, it was because of Bean Douche that I started feeling disconnected from the rest of my class and I started to make friends outside of school. Friends that I thought really accepted me for who I was. But unfortunately, they just weren't the best people for me. Guys, I just want to say that I'm someone who genuinely just loves to help people. But honestly, there are a lot of people who will make you think like they're like you and me, but really, they're just putting on a mask to try and wrap you around their little finger. So I'm just letting you guys know that because please be aware. I was so happy when I graduated, literally jumping in the air, clapping my heels together, everything. I was so ready to close that chapter in my life. I think that a really common problem that we see in a lot of schools that isn't addressed is that kids get bullied simply for being their own person. And this especially goes for all of my creatives out there. Trust me, I sympathize and I know from firsthand experience how small-minded people can be and how being around them can quite literally beat the happiness, creativity, and individuality out of you. And when your creativity is suppressed, it literally feels like you're in a prison. It gets so dark and so lonely and so much harder for you to express yourself in a healthy manner. And it explains why so many kids, even in elementary schools, are turning to drugs, turning to alcohol, dropping out of school, just trying to hide from the world. Kids can lash out at their loved ones or the people around them, and no one will ever even know that they're dealing with something that's so much deeper than what they're showing. Because kids are really good at distracting people from that. They're good at distracting themselves from that. I actually wrote a story time video on that exact topic, which I'll link down in the description box below. You guys can go check that out and let me know what you think. Listen, if you're in school, I don't care what grade you're in, find a creative outlet. Find a hobby, find an activity that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel like a winner. Put your whole heart into it, and I promise you, it will literally save you. For me, it's writing and making YouTube videos for you guys. And for anyone getting bullied, the most important thing for you to do is stand up for yourself in a way that doesn't put you in any harm. I will say though, be prepared when you stand up to your bullies for them to flip the script on you completely and just call you mean names and say that you're harassing them, etc., all this nonsense. And when they say something like that to you, hold them accountable for it, 100%. If they want to say something like that to you, go radio silent and take matters into your own hands in other ways. Tell a teacher. But there's a way to tell a teacher. If you're going to tell a teacher that you're being bullied, the best way to go about it is to get a parent or a family member to send an email to your class teacher, your guidance counselor, and your principal. Explain the situation to them, and if 1 week goes by and no action has been taken, that's your cue to email the superintendent and ask for a meeting, but ask your parents to do that. You always want to have everything in writing, guys. I cannot stress that enough. And once you meet with the superintendent, you can even show them proof. Like, here, I sent all of these emails to my class teacher, my guidance counselor, the principal. Nothing was done. What do I do? Or what steps can we take to move forward and fix this? Schools are a big system, guys. There are board members, there are class parents. Do what you can to end the bullying, because you'd not only be helping spread awareness to the problem, but you could also help so many more kids who are going through the same thing. Maybe even a class parent's kid. And helping people is awesome, and it's something to be proud of. And if there's anything you guys should know, it's that bullies are complete losers. Why are they always so desperate to get a negative reaction out of you? All for a laugh? They'll try to make you feel like you're a joke, like you're a problem, like you're the reason why everyone else's life is ruined. Honestly, I didn't even know I had the power to ruin everyone else's life around me, so thank you. And guys, you're not a problem at all. You're just an easy target for them to place their blame on when they can't face a problem for themselves. And these are people who grow up trying to control everything around them and subsequently failing at it because no one trusts them enough to have a genuine human connection with them. I know that I'm the person I am today because of both the good and the bad experiences in my life. But I will say that my happiness truly was a choice. Because of all the bullying that I'd experienced all my life, I became motivated to change my mindset, to stop being so sad and angry with the world, because I knew I wanted to be someone who would inspire and help people one day. So it was my responsibility to pull myself out of my darkness. Another thing I want to add, because I know this comes up, a lot of people say to forgive others for your own peace of mind. I gotta be honest, you guys, I do not have a forgiving bone in my body for bullies. Especially since they're the type of people who think that forgiveness is weakness and therefore legitimizes their behavior. Yeah, it's crazy. Do what's best for you, but don't force yourself to forgive someone if you're not ready to forgive, and especially if that person hasn't even apologized to you. And don't always expect an apology from them either. They don't have the decency to do that. But most importantly, never ever be hard on yourself for what you went through. Because if you're watching this video in this very moment, then that means that you're a survivor, and that's lit. Gosh, I get so heartbroken, you guys, when I hear stories about little kids committing suicide and just teenagers committing suicide just because they didn't have someone to talk to, and when they talked to someone, they just weren't heard. And I just want to make sure that you guys feel heard and that you feel understood. You guys literally have no idea how precious you are and how much of an impact you could make by just not giving up. On that note, I just want to end this video by saying I love you guys so much. I really hope that this video helped you, and if it did, please give it a big thumbs up and click the subscribe button and the notification bell for more videos. If you'd like to view the original short story that I wrote about bullying that I mentioned earlier, the link for that is in the description below. And feel free to reach out to me at any time if you're dealing with any bullying issues, etc. I'm available on my Twitter, and I'm also available on my Instagram, which I will also link below as well. I'll be there for you, and I'll be your friend, okay? I love you guys so much. Bye.